Hi, Paul Hefty here with the Triangle O football system. I want to talk about our Four Verts evolution. This is an air raid play action pass series. A couple things. We call it a 9-1 system because we chunk everything together so we can communicate with one word, one signal for our 2-minute offense with this series. Next, for teaching with the quarterback, we do a 2-phase read sequence. On his rocker play action, it's his primary, and then with his 3-step drop, we go to our reset. Last, something we got from head coach Jeff Johnson, state champ team up in Chatfield, Minnesota, for timing with high school receivers and quarterbacks. Our outside receivers, if running go routes, will use a sluggo technique versus a DB off and inside. If the DB is off and outside, then they're going to use a hover technique, kind of change of pace. And if they're in a press, we'll do a 3-step shake and club. Let's take a look now. Here then is an overview of the series. We will use Major League Baseball as a theme for communication. You can see we start with classic 4 verts, then into our 10 tags, 3x1s, and then various combinations. The key here is the quarterback will use the same read key defender, doing his primary and then to his resets in his progression, consistent throughout the whole series. For pass protection, we use our half slide pocket protection. We can do 6-man with the B-back, double checking, Mike to Sam. We can go 6-man with the H-back now, double checking, and we can go 5-man, what we call our solo pro, free releasing both the H and the B. This is a quick overview of half slide pocket pro against all the different fronts. You can see here in the upper left with the 4-3, the play side is to the left, so that's where we're in a man principle if they're covered, and then the center, right guard, right tackle are all going to slide back into a zone technique 3-on-3 with the back now after the play action fake checking the Mike to the Sam, always inside out. Again, it's not so much what you do but how you teach it, and we use this drill 25 where we've got 2 quarterbacks going in the 5 receivers, and what it allows us to do is have one quarterback throwing in the primary phase and the second doing the reset, all off the same read key of a coach. The O-line at the same time then is working on their half slide protection against the different fronts and blitzes. All right, foundation to the series is a classic 4 verts we call giants. You can see here the H is going to go up the seam on the hash, and the A then is running a bender read on the other hash. If he has one high safety, as he does in this diagram, then he stays on the hash up the seam. If he has 2 high and the middle box is open, then he would go ahead after 6 steps, bend inside. The Z and the A will always run go routes outside the numbers, but again, depending on the cornerbacks playing them, we'll either do a sluggo technique, a hover, or a 3-step shake for timing purposes. Back will double check after the play fake, the Mike to the Sam to a check down in the middle. Quarterback, again, 2-phase read sequence. Phase 1, he's going to have the rocker fake stepping forward, rocking back, reading the goat on all 4 vert series plays. If he feels he has a green light with 1 or 2 on the inside being the A and the H, then he's going to take a quick 3-step back pedal, set, and throw. If he has a maybe on the rocker phase, then that means no, and he's going to go into his 3-step back pedal and do a reset where he's predetermined whether he's going to the X or the Z based on alignment and or mismatches or where the ball is on the field. Typically with high school quarterbacks, we're going to go into the boundary if we're in a hash. If we're in the middle, then he can look at best matchup. Next is the 10 tag for the Z and the X. Instead of doing goes, they'll do a 10-yard and in. Quarterback, again, will do his 2-phase read sequence, reading the goat on the rocker. Here we have 2 high, so the A now will bend after 6 steps into that open middle field. Again, if he's got a green light, typically the A against 2 high, he takes it. If not, Then he's going to go ahead and go his reset to his predetermined side, either the X or the Z, running the 10 and in, to the back as a check down in the middle. We can do a 10-3 where we've got the Z, the X, and the H, all three running 10 tags. Quarterback, though, still uses his same read key of the GOAT, going primary to the A and the H. If it's a maybe, then he does a reset to the Z or the X on the 10 tag to the back on a check down. Same read key, same read progression. This is one we got from Joe Moorhead, who is the offensive coordinator at Penn State when they won the Big Ten championship. It's a backpack concept. I really like this as a complement. What happens here is we have the A running a fade go going first. So after 3 steps, going to get up to the numbers, still looking over the inside shoulder. And the Z, after 2 steps now, comes underneath the A receiver running the bender read. Again, same read sequence for the quarterback. He's going to read the GOAT phase 1, but now he's looking for the Z and the H up the hashes or in the middle, and then resetting typically to the A on the fade go. You can run this out of 3x1, and we use our 3/1 rule with our H. It's the only receiver that has to understand the concept. Again, he's going to go from his 3 receiver side back to his seam on the 1 receiver side, 3/1. He wants to get about 20 yards deep and still try to stretch to that far hash. Again, quarterback still reads the GOAT with his primary on the rocker phase, looking for the Z now on the bender and the H on the 3/1 route. Then he resets to the A on the slot fade or the X on the 10 on the backside. Next in the series is a choice 3 verts, something I really like out of 3x1. H runs the 3/1 to the seam, A with the bender, Z with the 10, but now the X has choices of 3 routes. 1 running a sluggo, 2 running a tracer when the DB's deep, and then 3, if there is no safety help at all, just goes right into a glance to take the top off. Quarterback still uses his same 2-step sequence, reading the GOAT on the rocker. Again, if there's a maybe, then he's going to reset and come right over to the X with the choice route based on that DB's alignment. A route combination that Chatfield, Minnesota, as I mentioned, state champs, used with a lot of success was an exchange off the choice. All that happens here is the A runs the 3/1 seam now, and the H goes behind him running the bender read. Quarterback again is going to read the GOAT, looking 1-2 inside receivers, and then resetting to the X on the choice concept. Phillies is classic switches. We just call it a promise. And again, it becomes the same read sequence as Giants, but we're just switching the routes. I like to run this out of our ace formation. Now we get our X receiver closed with the H winged behind him. Creates a rub action for the defense. We can go 10 promise, where we go ahead and stay wide in our spread sets, running the promise switch with the X and the H, but the Z now does a 10 and in from the wide side of the field. Same read sequence, still getting 3 verts. We can do the back with the wheel routes up the sideline, where we have the H now using our laser or razor protection call. The H then does the check on the mic to the SAM, check down, and that lets the back free release run in the wheel route. Still get the 4 verticals with the same read sequence of the quarterback, reading the GOAT, primary being 1 and 2 inside, being the Z and the X now, with a reset to the back wheel up the boundary. Last is our solo pro or 5-man protection, where we go ahead and have our X running a hot drag route and the B free releasing up the seam. Quarterback is now going to just do his 3-step back pedal. Again, he's always got the X hot if he feels pressure. Otherwise, he's reading the goat, same as always, primary, 1 with the A on the bender and B up the seam, and then a reset to the 10 or the H up the sidelines or the drag continuing across. Last, I like to do a review with the players to make sure we're understanding the same terminology and the process and seeing what sticks with them and what needs to be retaught. Hopefully now you can see you have a complete series with our 4 verts. The key to it, though, is the quarterback reads the same read key and has the same read progression as a primary and a reset throughout the whole series. Thanks.